Welcome to Gyan Niketan Girls School. Hello students, I am Aarti Shetty. In this video, I am going to give you summary of If I Were You, written by James Douglas. Before starting the summary, let's discuss something about James Douglas. Sir James Douglas was born on August 15, 1803. He was a Canadian fur trader and politician who became the first governor of the colony of British Columbia. He is often credited as the father of British Columbia. He started work at the age of 16 for the Northwest Company and then the Hudson's Bay Company, becoming a high-ranking officer. He died on August 2, 1877 at the age of 73. Now let's see the scene. It is a small cottage interior. There is an entrance back right which may be curtained. Another door to the left must be a practical door. The furniture is simple, consisting of a small table towards the left, a chair or two, and a divan rather upstage on the right. There is a telephone on the table. When the curtain rises, Gerard is standing by the table making a phone call. He is of medium height and wearing horn-rimmed glasses. He is dressed in a lounge suit and a great coat. This is a short one-act play in which the leading character is a smart and cultured playwright cum director and actor. He lives in a small cottage on the outskirts of the town. He is not very social, so he does not go out very often, and neither does he receive many guests and friends. When the scene opens, he is seen to be packing a bag and is apparently in some kind of hurry. Just then, an intruder breaks into the house holding a gun in his hand. The intruder had planned to kill him and take on his identity. He had murdered a policeman and was wanted by the police. He thinks he can save himself by taking on Gerard's identity. Gerard was very surprised to see a stranger in his house, but does not show any such expression on his face. He sees the gun but behaves in a nonchalant manner. The man thinks Gerard is trying to act smart, so he warns him. Since it is important for the intruder to walk, talk, and behave like Gerard, he makes him sit and asks him probing questions. Gerard is smart enough to gauge the situation and gives misleading answers, but pretending all the time that he is giving straight answers. The stranger demands to know if he owns a car and whether he drives it himself. Gerard tells him that he does own the car, but it is in the garage. When the stranger reveals his plan of killing him and taking on his identity, Gerard very cunningly tells him that if that were his plans, then he won't gain much. He cooks up another story that he too had killed somebody and that the police was trailing him. One of his accomplices had been arrested and he had news that the police could reach him any minute. He tells the intruder that he was in a rush to escape and that he had posted one man on the road to give him signal in case he saw some danger. Gerard then suggests the intruder to run away with him in his car, and if he still wanted to murder him, he could do so even in the car after they had fled. The intruder agrees, but when he is about to cross the door, Gerard pushes him into the nearby cupboard. He then slams it, later telephones the police, and finally hands him over to the sergeant. So, I have completed the summary of the chapter. Thank you.